I'm Greg Washington, University of California, Irvine. Can you talk a little bit about commitment of the institution in terms of having these entities be a success?
Yes.
Especially as it relates to the predominantly white institutions that are listed on your on your document there.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's critical that the university think through what commitment to diversity means with specificity. There's some issues involving women, some issues involving race and ethnicity, and then other groups, all right? With regard to race and ethnicity, we're talking about several things. We're talking about working to have some presence on the faculty, you know, but it's taken me 20 years to get that presence in every STEM department. We had to get it in a way that where people are getting tenure and all of that. We've gone through some challenges, right? So, I mean, people think we are heavily minority. No, I've finally gotten the first Black and first Hispanic in most STEM departments, all right? But it's taken years. And they are now getting, from the advanced grant, some of the people made progress with the women because we had women of color. So my first woman biologist who now has an R1 grant, and several women in that. But my point is that was very important. And with the advanced grant, it's a great example because it's such a structured program from NSF. The institution made the commitment that when the money left, when the money was no longer there, we would continue to do some things to support junior women and junior men in some ways, all right? Similarly, with the minorities, with Meyerhoff, one of our major fundraising goals has for years been attracting funds to go in the endowment. So when we don't have NSF money, and we get very little money from the federal government. We've gotten some from some places over the years. NIH, the Mark grant, for example. But most places will say, well, you're not an HBCU. I mean, and so while I supporting HBCUs, I would say support the HBCUs that are making the difference. All right? And then support other institutions who show a commitment who have minority students there. And so I would argue that, so for us, it's a matter of that we have been building an endowment, yeah. So we've got an endowment now, maybe $12 million. But that gives you $600,000 a year. We've got hundreds and hundreds of these kids. It's about 25%, not even 25% of the money we have to find. And what I would say is this, that the commitment means the university leveraging grant money and fundraising with some of its own money. Now, I'll tell you what commitment meant at UMBC. At some point, finally, the deans and others said, we need to put in university money into the base budget. And they did it to the tune of almost $1 million. People gave up. They said, there's nothing we're doing at UMBC that's more important to the country than producing these minorities who will become leaders in STEM. And over several years, they put in about $900,000+ into the base. That's what I mean by commitment, okay? It does take money, time, discussion of leaders about the issues, highlighting success, but money on the part of the university. When people say we don't have money, well, how important is it? If it's important, you find money from that. It's just real, it really is. And that wasn't the president making them do it. That was and most of my administrators are white. All right, it really was people getting it. That's the point. Do the people get it? Do they see this as important to the future of the university? Leslie.